This all starts on a really, really hot day. Of course, it's in the daytimes. I don't drive at nighttime. I ended up at the racetracks and I get a request from this girl. Now, it took me forever to find her, okay? I must have been driving around for like 15-20 minutes. But I was calling her and like we were keeping in touch the whole time, so I wasn't going to leave her. I'm not one of those drivers that leave people, by the way, like the first time they can't find them. I think that's so fucking rude. If you do that, like fucking shame on you. So I wasn't gonna leave her, so I was looking for her for I wanted to leave her. Looking for a really long time, and we finally found each other. And her and some guy who I assumed was her friend, they got in my car and they were just like belligerent drunk, like really, really drunk. Anyways, they get in my car and she's just explaining to me how like mad she is because all the other drivers had canceled on her, and like she's like, I don't understand why they do that. I'm a really good rater. I'm a really, really good tipper. Like, there's just no point for them to, you know, leave me and not even try to find me. So I was like, yeah, fuck those drivers, you know, because I heard really good tips. So I was like, fuck them all. After that, she kind of simmers down, and then she's like, well, our day went great. Like, we won a bunch of money. And I was like, what? No way. And they're like, yeah, we betted. This is the first time we won anything, and we're like so excited. And I'm like, awesome. Like, what are you guys gonna do with it? And then she's like, we're gonna go to the fucking strip club. And I was like, oh, okay. I was gonna drop them off at the strip club. And then, so we're in the car, and they're really cool, but mind you, they're pretty old. They're like my parents' age, and my parents are pretty old. And they're just talking about piercings, and I told her I had my belly button pierced and I had my back dimples pierced, and she was like, oh my god, that's so cute. Like, I've been wanting to get that, but I haven't. And then she was explaining to me how she had just got her nipples pierced. So I was like, what the hell? Like, you have your nipples pierced? Jokingly, I made a joke like, can I see? And she was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll show you. And then I was like, oh, okay. I had to put my hair up because it's so fucking hot. But anyways, she showed me her boobs, and they were really fucking nice for that age that she was. I hope mine are like that at that age. But I was just like, wow, like, you have really nice nipples. Like, I didn't really know how to compliment that. Like, I was just whatever came in my head, that's what I said. And she was like, thanks. Like, yeah, everybody tells me. So I don't know how many people she showed her boobs to, but apparently everyone tells her she has nice boobs. So then, talking about, you know, they have a lot of money because they're showing me all their new Mercedes, and like they're just talking about work all the time, and like how they don't let money get to their head. They're actually really, really cool. They were just really, really drunk. And then the guy says something like they're just talking about how they're pervs and how they love to go to the strip club all the time. And then the guy was like, yeah, I'm so lucky that my better half loves to check out girls all the time. So that was when I found out, like, oh fuck, like, they're together. Like, shit, there are some freaks if that's how they talk and they're together and like they don't argue. Like, good for them. And I was like, what? You guys are together? And she was like, yeah, we're married, but we barely see each other because he lives so far for work purposes, and I'm here, but you know what? It's okay because we always have a good time. So I was like, fuck it. You guys always have a good time. I was just agreeing with whatever the fuck she said, honestly. They were really nice, so I didn't care. So that's how they loved going to the strip club, and they're fucking pervs. And I was like, that's awesome, like, that you guys can do that, because, you know, some people are insecure about themselves, and some people always get in fights, and some people like to have fun like that, and like, it's good that you guys can agree to something like that. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, you guys are crazy. Like, you guys are really cool. Like, my parents are not that fucking cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, my parents are cool, but they're not like nipple piercing, strip club having, horse race cool, you know? So I was just like, oh, that's awesome. And then she was like, yeah, we're also into more freaky stuff. And I was like, oh, more freaky stuff. Like, I didn't really want to hear about the freaky stuff, but I was like, wow, more freaky stuff. And then she was like, yeah, like, that, like, she's like, you know. And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, well, we like to have a lot of threesomes. And I was like, a lot of threesomes? A lot of threesomes? They were like, yeah, it's so fun, like, you know, like, haven't you ever tried it before? And I was like, no, I've never had a threesome before, but I mean, awesome that you guys have. And they're like, what, you've never had a threesome before? And I was like, Nope, never had a threesome before. I've been asked, but I've never had a threesome before. And then they were like, honestly, like, that's cool. It depends on the kind of people you're with, but, you know, we really recommend that you do it because it could be so much fun. And I was like, yeah, maybe one day, you know, it's just like, it was really kind of awkward at this point. I was like, maybe one day I'll have a threesome, but right now, don't do that. And then they were like, okay, like, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 22. And she was like, oh, you're my daughter's age. And I was like, oh, you're my mom's age. And then she was like, I was totally gonna ask you if you would, you know, want to join us for one. And I was like, what? Like, no, you barely met me. You want to have a threesome with me? I was just like, wow. Like, I'm honored that you guys would, you know, ask me to join in a threesome with you guys, but I'm gonna have to politely decline because I don't do that. And they're like, oh, come on, but you've never tried it, and like, we're cool people, right? That's what the husband was saying. And I was like, yeah, you guys are like awesome, you know? And then they were like, so wouldn't you want it to be with somebody that you're comfortable with? And I was like, yeah, but I don't even know if I even want to have a threesome. And then he was like, honey, get her number down, like, get her number, maybe she could pick us up after the strip club. And then, so she was like, okay, like, let me get your number. Do you live around here? And I was like, yeah, I live around the corner, actually. I live by a lot of strip clubs. And she was like, okay, so I gave her my number, and I was like, just call me or, like, text me. Let me know when you guys are, like, close to being done, and I'll see if I'm around. And we're getting close to the strip club, and she's like, okay, but, I mean, I have to ask you one more time, like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure I can pick you guys up. Like, it's not a big deal. She was like, no, like, are you sure that, you know, you're not down? And I was like, yeah, I'm down to pick. I didn't know what she was saying. I was just like, yeah, I can do it. I'll pick you guys up. And then she was like, no, like, it's for the threesome. Like, you're a really pretty girl. You're young. You know, you haven't experienced it yet. And we just, you know, we're just going to give you one last shot. And I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I'm positive, but thank you guys, though. Like, if I ever, you know, do change my mind, I will for sure, you know, text you guys and let you guys know I want to have a threesome. And then she was like, okay, no problem, baby. Like, be safe. She tipped me a fucking $20 in cash. Like, that was the nicest thing anybody has ever done for me. I've never been tipped in cash. I've never even been tipped $20 in my whole entire life. So I was really happy about that. I ended up not picking them up because it was really late when they were done. And I ended up, like, all the way in Huntington Beach. But they were really, really nice people. If anybody's down to have a threesome, I'll give you guys their numbers because they were so cool about it. But yeah, so that was just one of the stories. It was really funny, but I fucking love it. It's so funny when people like that get in my car and they're nice and they're safe. But yeah, this is just a small video. I hope you guys are doing great, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.